I, Chooka Parker, am predicting my success. I am going to become a millionaire. Watch me do it. Right, in today's video, I'm going to predict my future financial success, and I'm also going to have a bit of a rant about the people that like to take shots at people that have made it and use that age-old comment, easy for you to say, right, from your position. So I'm going to be starting in the position where I'm not wealthy. I am broke as fuck. Now you might think, how is that possible? You're on TV, like aren't you rich and famous? Famous for a while, rich, no. I never got any money out of it. I never did well with business. I kind of like the Flight of the Conchords situation, you know, playing in the library for exposure. I never did well in business. In fact, I've lost money every year. I never got picked up by anybody. No big record labels came and said, hey, we'll give you like 30 grand to make an album, or 100 grand. Like, I never had that. I had to learn the business myself. So anyway, today I wanted to have a bit of a rant, and I'm going to predict my success now so that I can take all of your excuses away from you. Let's get into the video. Right. One thing I am sick to bloody death of is hearing people say, easy for you to say, right? Like me with my music, I play the piano and I say, oh, you know, it's not that hard if you just do this, this, and that. Easy for you to say, right? Easy for you to say in your position. I got this quite a lot. I started playing the piano when I was 14 years old, and by the time I was 16, I was on Australia's Got Talent, and people didn't understand how that could happen. How do you get that good in 2 years? It must be natural talent, right? It's a God-given gift. It's a God-given, so God just gave it to me. You just threw it down and it landed in my lap and bam, I could play the piano as a gift. It's a talent. I'm naturally inclined. Oh, all this stuff, you know. And people would say to me like, look mate, like you've only played the piano for 2 years. I've been playing the piano for 15 years and I'm nowhere near that level. And I hear it and I think, what were you doing for those 15 years? What were you doing? How haven't you improved? I'm going to tell you why people play the piano or try to learn a skill for 10 years and they can't get as good as, let's say, someone like myself that had been playing for 2 years at the time in that amount of time. Here's the difference. You can have been doing something for 10, 15 years and, you know, you start playing, let's say you play the piano, you start and you're all excited about it and it's fun and you spend a bit of time on it, and then life gets busy and then you play less and, you know, you just sort of muck around with what you can do a little bit, and, you know, the days turn into weeks, turn into months, and before you know it, you may have got like 30 hours of solid practice in a year or something, and by the time 10, 15 years has come up, I mean, you can't really say you've been practicing for 10 years, like you've been playing a little bit here and there, so how can you expect to improve, you know, working like that? Now, I'm going to compare that with my story and how I got to the level of piano that I did within 2 years. And I can say this now, and nobody would probably believe me, because you've already seen my skills on the piano, and, you know, everyone's just going to say it was a gift, and you're just talented, and you're naturally inclined, and all these things, you know, God just threw it down and landed in my lap and all that stuff. But I will tell you, when I first started playing the piano, I was freaking awful. I was awful. I would play to some girls in a room and they would be running out the door. It was awful. I was embarrassed. It was a shit show. The thing that I did was For starters, I didn't care what anyone thought, so if I embarrassed myself publicly, I kept going anyway. I wasn't like, oh my god, people aren't going to like me. I'm like, fuck them, like I'm just going to do it anyway. The second thing that I did was I was the kind of person that would stay up for 4 days in a row with no sleep, and the only reason I would leave my keyboard was to eat something or go to the toilet. I was mega dedicated, stupidly dedicated. I mean, I spent every minute of every waking hour that I wasn't doing other things playing the piano. And I didn't just spend it practicing, I spent it perfect practicing. And what's the difference between practice and perfect practice, right? Let's say you're trying to play a scale or something and you're sort of mucking around with a few different things and you sort of, beat that out for a good few hours and you get pretty good. You're sort of practicing yourself into a rut in a way if you don't do it perfect the first time. So I would research how to do it perfect, and I would start very slow. It was a very painful process, and you've got to have more patience than bloody God to be able to do this. You've kind of got to be insane, right? And you've got to have a stupid work ethic, and you've got to be very patient. It would just be a very slow process of right finger there, this there, that there. Like I said, I was awful when I started playing the piano. Awful. Horrible. I was the kid that was bashing the keys, making horrible sounds, and people were bloody running away from me. But after 2 years of perfect practice, an insane dedication, and all of my life poured into that, I shocked the world. And no one can take that away from me, but this is what they can take away from me, and this is what they do take away from me. They take away the effort I put in, right? And they say, look, it wouldn't matter if I played the piano for 10 years, I couldn't get that good. And then they say I was given a gift from God. I was talented, yeah? So you see there, what they're really saying is it's unfair. You're in a better position than I could ever be, and even if I put the same effort in, I would never get the same results. And that's just simply not true. It takes away accountability from themselves, and it also takes away my achievement by saying that it was a God-given gift and some kind of talent. And I can sit here in front of you today and I can tell you all this, but you're not necessarily going to believe that because you weren't there at the start. You can't prove that I was terrible at the start of my piano playing. I could be making this up. I mean, you have no way of proving that, and I have no way of proving that to you, apart from the fact I know it's true, but you'll just have to take my word for it, right? So there's no way of proving that. Now, this has happened with every single thing that I've done. I was always terrible at the start of it, and I think that this has what has set me apart from other people is that I had no fear of public embarrassment. I was perfectly happy to fail at the skate park on my BMX tricks right around the age where, you're a young teenager, you're a young guy, and you're trying to be cool in front of your mates and you don't want to be laughed at and all that. These other kids would show up with their phenomenal tricks that they'd obviously practiced at home, and they'd be extraordinarily popular at the skate park. I'd show up and I'd be crashing, crash after crash after crash, and everyone would be laughing at me. But it was never enough to deter me. That's not to say I'm invincible and that it didn't hurt. I mean, I've faced public embarrassment and ridicule my whole life. that's how I've improved, because I just didn't care and I kept doing it anyway. But it was never enough to deter me from what I was doing. A good example, another example, is singing. I was absolute horse shit at singing, and everybody knows that. I was told by so many people not to sing, don't even try. My music producer told me I had nothing there. There was nothing there. It was quite devastating, you know? Like, I've had members from distant family basically tell me, like, don't even try. You know, you're not a singer. And that could have shut me down, and that's where a lot of people would stop. Or you could try to practice a bit, and then people could all shit on you and just, you know, it's terrible, and that's when people stop. I never stopped. I kept squawking my way to victory until the point where I've got a decent voice on me now, and you can check it out on my YouTube channels. I've got a couple of videos of me singing, and I'm sure that there would still be some people saying that, oh, you should stick to the piano and, you know, don't sing and, you know, stop embarrassing yourself or whatever. But the truth is, I've got a decent voice, and this has taken me 10 years to build up. But once again, perhaps you didn't see me at the start of my singing career, and maybe you've only shown up now and you've seen that, oh, well, this guy can play the piano and he can sing and there's nothing he can't do and he's just talented and just whatever he does turns to gold, or all this kind of stuff, which I don't really take that as a compliment, to be honest. It just detracts from my hard work and gives people an excuse to not do it. You know, this guy's just, everything he does turns to gold. It's just easy for him. What I am going to do today, though, is I'm going to show you something I'm bad at now. I'm bad at now. It's one word, and it's something that a lot of musicians are bad at. Because we love the creativity, we love the fun and the expression of music, but we're terrible at business. Terrible! Wouldn't know how to make a cent out of our craft. I was one of those musicians, right? I may have made 10 grand a year, maybe. I may have made a little bit more than that when I first started and I had my big wave of popularity from Australia's Got Talent. After that, it dwindled quickly down to, you know, around the $10,000 mark, until the point where I have been losing money for 10 years in order to keep my business going. When it comes to things I'm naturally inclined at, you might make an argument that I could be naturally inclined to music, although I don't agree, because I know what it was like at the start, and I was awful at it, but you won't necessarily think that, and I can't prove that. So you might say I'm naturally talented at music. Fair enough, okay? Fair enough. But with business, no one can say that. With how popular I was and the skills of a world-class musician, I should have been a millionaire by now. But I'm not. I drive an old Toyota 1995 model Tarago. I've been living in a caravan for quite some time. And I'm more than broke. I'm in debt. I have minus money, okay? Financially, I'm fucked. I definitely don't have a good starting position with this, and I've always hated business for some odd reason. I've always just wanted to sit there and play my music, and I wish that I could just do music. I've ignored the business side of it. I haven't wanted to do it, and I find it really complicated and confusing. And I don't think that this should be too hard to believe, because you have artistic people and you have business-minded people. I'm clearly an artist. That's clearly what I do. So you could say that business is my natural opposite. It's something that I'm bad at. And I've had to fund my music career with other jobs. Business has always given me a headache. It just seems like rocket science to me. I definitely do not have a natural inclination toward business. So this is where I'm going to start. And I'm going to start with something very important. I'm going to show you my bank account. So as you can see, I have 24 bucks in the bank as I'm recording this video. Now obviously I make more money than that every week, but right now I'm about as low down the food chain as you can get financially. I'm living on the dole to support my music, trying still to make it as a musician. I might be on $300 to $350 a week. And I wanted to show this to you so that you can all see the bad starting position that I have. Feel free to have a laugh, feel free to, poke fun of me, feel free to heckle me. Oh, you're a big famous musician, maybe you got a secret Swiss bank account somewhere. Like, look, look, if I had a secret Swiss bank account, I don't think I'd be driving around in a Toyota Tarago, living in a caravan. But nevertheless, I'm starting in dire straits, and I wanted to show that with you and show you my vulnerability with the possibility and most likely probability of being humiliated and mocked and laughed at and made fun of. I expect that. I welcome it. Come at me. And I do this to help you. Because most people I know live week to week, just like me. It's like, how are we going to pay the bills? And I've got to figure out how to get money to this. And, I'm in debt and all this craziness. I'm starting where everybody else is starting. And I, Chooka Parker, am predicting my success. I am going to become a millionaire. Watch me do it. Now, the point of this video isn't to make it and then tell everybody, I told you so, look at me, look at me, I made it, like you all said I couldn't. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you that you can make it too, without being talented, without having some gift from God, starting on a very low income, and maybe you're not the smartest person in the room. Another thing that people have said to me often over the years, I heard this from a couple of the judges and almost everybody I've met, is they call me a genius. Now, I could sit here and be all flattered by that and pump up my ego and feel really good about myself, but I've never thought I was a genius. I always thought that I was just really determined and persistent and I didn't give up. But everybody called me a genius, and so I thought, I wonder if I really am. So I took an IQ test. And it was hilarious. I got over 100 and I thought, yeah, I passed. I got over 100. Right, so here's my IQ. 108, average intelligence. I'm an averagely intelligent guy. I'm definitely not a genius. A genius is something like somewhere over 120, 140 IQ or something ridiculous. I am not, according to this verified certificate, a genius by any stretch of the imagination. And when I saw this, I laughed my head off. I laughed my head off because I've always told people, hey, I'm not a genius. And they're like, oh, come on, man, you're a genius. Like, how do you do that if you're not a genius? You're a genius. I'm like, no, I'm not. I was just really persistent. I didn't give up. You're a genius. You're a genius. I'm not a genius. I'm just like a pit bull that's got one goal in his head and I won't give up until I get there. That's it. That's it. And I laughed so hard because everybody had been trying to take away my achievement with the, it's a gift from God, you're naturally talented, you're a genius, all these comments. I realized in that moment I was right. I was just persistent and committed and dedicated, and I didn't give up, and I found a way, and that's all it is. So this is my message to you. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room to make it. You don't have to start from a place of privilege or some place high in society or be really wealthy or anything to make it. You can start anywhere and make it. And I'm going to prove that to you by becoming a millionaire in front of your eyes. And I'm going to do it starting here. And you know, one thing that I don't find is very helpful is when you get all of these videos from people on YouTube, how to become a millionaire, right? And it's from someone who's already a millionaire and they've made it. And it's like, well, that's not very helpful to me. And they tell their stories about how they were broke once, but it doesn't seem real because they're standing next to a Porsche and they're living in an estate. They've got people working for them. They've got a lovely suit on, and it just like, it's like, how does this apply to me? Like, this guy's light years ahead of me. Like, I know that he's said this, but it just doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem possible. So I wanted to start from the ground, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And I'm telling you now, this is all it takes. Persistence, dedication, commitment, and whatever you need to learn, figure it out, right? We've got YouTube. Anything you want to know is on YouTube. It's this simple. If you want to know how to get rich, type in how to get rich. It'll come up with a great podcast by Naval, How to Get Rich. You listen to that for a few hours. Oh my God, that's how to do it. Like, there are no excuses anymore. The information is there. It's all on YouTube. It's all for free. You might have to sift through a little bit of crap, but if you've got a discerning and critical mind, you'll see the people who are legit, you know, who are telling you how to do it. It's simple. Find a way, be dedicated, be committed, and go at it like a hungry pit bull, and you will do it. You will do it. You'll absolutely do it. Hell yeah, you'll do it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show everybody that I can turn my worst skill into my best skill. And I'm recording this video now so that when I make it, people don't turn around and go, oh, but you know, it's just, I've literally been told this in the past. It's just because he's Chooka Parker. Oh my God. Oh, I wish it was that easy. Oh, it's just because I'm Chooka Parker, I'm naturally buff. I don't have to go to the gym. I'm just Chooka Parker. I was just born with muscles. Oh, I never had to learn the piano. It's as simple as being Chooka Parker. I was just born and I knew how to do all this stuff. It's ridiculous things that people say to me. And everybody does it. Everybody does it. And I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. They look at me and they say I'm the reason they're not going to make it because the world's unfair and you were just born with it. God gave you a gift. Everything that you touch turns to gold, and I could spend 50 more years doing the same thing and I'd never reach the level that you are. But maybe you're just lazy. How many people say that they want $1 million and don't have it? I've said it. I've said it heaps. I like the idea of being a millionaire, but that's where it stops, in that stoner dreamer phase, right? Dreaming about $1 million. They say they want $1 million, but they don't want to learn about tax. They don't want to learn about finance and income and debits and credits and all the other stuff, right? They don't want to do the hard work, the dirty work. So do you want to make $1 million, or do you just like the idea of it? Because if you said, I want a beer, you would go to the shop and get yourself a beer, and have a beer because you actually want it. So I think that most people that talk about wanting lots of money, they don't really want it. They don't want to go through the hard work that's involved. So for the people who are serious and committed, this video is for you. So as of now, I'm starting a new business. Believe it or not, it's not anything to do with music. Not that that ever helped me. I don't even know how to sell my product because it's just streamed for free essentially by people on Spotify, and I get like 0.00004 cents or something like that, pathetic. So I am starting a new business. It's just a lawn care business. You don't really need much to start. Just a mower and just knock on a few doors or get some flyers printed. I am going to build my way up to millions of dollars. I have a solid plan. Hopefully, people watching this video are going to see that it is possible for anyone at any intelligence level, at any economic level, to make it. Because I'm going to make it. And I'm going to show you how to. I might write a book about how I did it. Take all the hard work out of it. Or you could just start now, make a few mistakes and not give up. My plan is to become a millionaire. And I want to do it in my 20s, but I've only got 2 years left to do that, so that's kind of crazy, but I will definitely have done it in my 30s. I'll have definitely become a millionaire in my 30s. I hope that when you watch this video, you think to yourself, right, damn, that's how Chooka gets good at everything he does. That's maybe how I can become good at anything I do. Damn, this is possible. I might go and research how to make $1 million. I might type into YouTube how to get rich and listen to Naval's podcast. I hope that's what you take away from this video. And I hope that whoever watching this video that is hungry for financial success or any kind of success sees this and is inspired by it. This is how I learnt the piano. This is how I became good at singing. This is how I became a bodybuilder. This is how I did everything that I've done in my life. I know I'm going to make it because I know that this process works. But according to everybody else, I might just be, talking out of my ass and I babble on all this crap and it never happens. So please fire all the shots that you want at me. All of the criticism in the world is welcome. And will be greatly appreciated in a few years when I have the millions of dollars and go, this is why you didn't make it. Because you sat there making excuses and you sat there saying, well, all the people that did make it were just privileged and that could never be me because blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Stop making excuses. Get to work, find a way, and you'll do it. You'll make it. I promise you. This is how I've done everything that I've ever done in my life. Don't worry about what people think. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Are you trying to impress them? And in all honesty, for those people that stand there taking shots at me, I wouldn't want to trade my life with any of them. What have they got to offer me? So anyway, I hope you've watched this video and you're inspired to take a step towards whatever you're going for and achieve success. I am going to make it. I'm going to become a millionaire. This is how I do it. I hope you do it too. And just remember, if you want to become successful at anything, it's very simple. Be dedicated. Be committed. Find a way. Look it up on YouTube. Google it. Go to the library. Ask a friend. Find a way. Figure it out. And don't worry about what people think of you. Don't be afraid of public ridicule. Because that's what stops most people dead in their tracks. They're afraid of what people might think. Start where you are. You can't start any further than where you are. I'm starting with $24 in the bank and an IQ of 108. That's where I'm starting. You might have more money than me. You might have a bigger IQ than me. That's great. You're starting in a better place. But if I can make it, you can. And if I make millions, you don't have any excuses left. You can't look at me and say, well, it's just because he was good at this and blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm taking all your excuses away from you, and I'm going to show you that you are capable of doing whatever you set your mind to if you go ahead and do it. Cheers. Just thought I should say, if somehow the world does become this dystopian, you will own nothing and be happy about it future where it's a cashless society and the world economy crashes, I'm not responsible for that. I know that I could do this in a stable economy. One more thing, this is the last day that I'm 27, so turning 28 tomorrow. So leave your comments down below. Can I do it or am I insane?